Ancient Greece was famous for excess, wine, power, and yes, sex orgies, and yet, the same civilization produced some of the most disciplined men in human history. Men who could command armies, but more importantly, command themselves. So here's the uncomfortable question. So why is it that you struggle to stay in control, in a world where temptation is only ever one click away? Stay with me, because what you've been told about lust is incomplete. And by the end of this, you'll start to recognize your urges for what they really are. This is not a quit porn in 7 days video. I'm not here to motivate you. I'm here to show you something more dangerous and more powerful. Lust is natural. It exists so humanity doesn't disappear. But like everything in life, the dose makes the poison. And today, the dose is unlimited. You're about to see how ancient Stoics understood this on a level most people today never reach. Not by suppressing desire, but by seeing through it. We'll go through 3 parts: who mastered this, what he understood, and how this plays out in your life right now. Because this isn't about morality, it's about control, focus, and the man you become if you don't take it back. Chapter 1. Who he was. His name was Epictetus. He was born a slave. No power, no status, no freedom over his body, but complete control over his mind. And that made him dangerous in a way most men never become. While others chase pleasure, he trained himself to question it. As a young man, Epictetus once struggled with the same force most men never escape. Desire felt overwhelming, immediate, unquestionable. So he placed himself deliberately into the chaos of the marketplace. Crowds, noise, beauty everywhere. At first, his mind reacted the way every mind does, grasping, interpreting, wanting. But then he did something different. He forced himself to look again, not with hunger, but with clarity. He observed, questioned, stripped away the story, and slowly, what once felt overpowering began to lose its grip. Because Epictetus understood something simple. You are not disturbed by things, but by how you see them. The urge you feel is real, but the story behind it, that it will satisfy you, complete you, fix something, this part is only constructed. The urge is not your enemy. Believing it blindly is, and most men never question it. Chapter 2. His method. Epictetus didn't fight lust. He exposed it. In ancient Greece, philosophers trained themselves to strip appearances of illusion. A beautiful body was reduced to skin, flesh, bone. A luxurious meal, just ingredients, decay, and time. Not to kill joy, but to remove deception. Because lust feeds on exaggeration. Your mind takes something simple and turns it into something irresistible, like a sculptor carving perfection out of stone. Except here, your mind is carving illusion, and then chasing it. Think about it. A screen, pixels, light, and yet your brain reacts as if something real is happening. That's the hijack. Dopamine floods your system. Your reward circuit lights up, and the part of your brain responsible for discipline, your prefrontal cortex, goes quiet. So when you say, "I don't know why I did it again," you do. You just weren't in control when it mattered. This is not weakness. It's conditioning, and what is repeated becomes automatic. Chapter 3. The hidden cost. At first it feels small. A moment. A release. No consequences. But slowly, something shifts. Your focus weakens. Sitting with one task becomes harder. Your mind starts drifting, searching, needing stimulation. Because part of your attention is always occupied. Always expecting the next hit. Like a background noise you can't fully turn off. Then comes tolerance. What once felt intense becomes normal. What satisfied you no longer does. So the brain escalates. More novelty, more intensity. Not because you want more, but because you need more to feel the same. And this is where the shift happens. People stop being people. They become images, signals, objects. Lust promises connection, but it trains disconnection. It promises relief, but it deepens emptiness. Chapter 4. Lust and Real Relationships. Now bring this into real life. A real person in front of you. Not a screen. Not a fantasy. A partner. Someone with emotions, complexity, depth. In ancient Greece, sailors feared the sirens. Their song was so beautiful that men would lose themselves trying to reach it. Ships would crash. Lives would end. Odysseus knew this, so he tied himself to the mast, because he understood. In the moment of temptation, he could not trust himself. Now, think about modern lust, pornography, endless novelty, encounters without connection. They train your brain to expect reward without effort, pleasure without patience. But real relationships don't work like that. They require attention, respect, presence. And here is the quiet truth many men don't say out loud. They don't just want pleasure. They want connection. They want to feel respected, to trust, to build something real. But if your mind is trained on constant stimulation, real intimacy can start to feel dull. Not because it is, but because your perception is distorted. And over time, this creates distance, less patience, less presence, less depth. Because part of your mind is elsewhere. What you practice in private, you bring into your relationships, and lust, without awareness, can erode respect for yourself and for others. And desire without respect always leads to damage. Chapter 5. The Modern Trap. Look at the world around you. Endless access. Endless stimulation. You are not struggling because you are weak. You are struggling because your environment is engineered to keep you engaged and dependent. Social media, porn, scrolling. It's the same loop. Dopamine spike. Crash, craving, repeat. And boredom becomes dangerous. Because in silence, your brain looks for the fastest reward. So you reach for your phone, again and again. Not because you decided to, because you were conditioned to. This is not a discipline problem. It's an overstimulation problem. Chapter 6. How you can use it. Now, control does not begin in the moment of temptation. It begins before. In clarity. In how you set up your environment. In how you train your perception. First, see clearly, not the fantasy. The mechanism. A spike, a loop, a chemical reaction. Second, change your environment. What you constantly see, you eventually act on. Reduce the triggers, and create friction. Third, redirect energy. Move your body, train hard. Because energy that is not used seeks escape. Fourth, respect boredom. Because boredom is the entry point. It's where the decision is made. Growth or relapse. Discipline is not one decision. It's a structure, built before the moment arrives. Lust is not power. Uncontrolled lust is dependence. Ancient men were not stronger because they had less temptations. They were stronger because they understood it. They saw through it, clearly. Not as a reward, but as a trade. And most people today are making that trade without realizing it. Short-term stimulation, for long-term emptiness, for weaker focus, for shallower connection. Lust itself is not the problem. But when it controls your perception, it takes more than it gives. And respect, for yourself and for others, must come before impulse. Because desire that destroys connection is not freedom. So, next time the urge appears, pause. Look at it, not as something to obey, but something to understand. Because the moment you see it clearly, it loses its power, and that is where control begins.